They admitted they were trying to make me jealous. Am I the a-hole for feeling jealous that my boyfriend's family planned my dream vacation without me? I've wanted to visit Japan for as long as I can remember. I started learning Japanese when I was in elementary school, and over the years it became more than just a hobby. I learned the language, cooked Japanese food, read books in Japanese, and stayed up to date with the culture. Visiting Japan wasn't just another vacation idea, it was my biggest dream. I was about to graduate from college and had always hoped I'd be able to celebrate by finally taking a trip there. Unfortunately, I simply couldn't afford it. To make things even more painful, I had once been accepted for a study abroad opportunity in Japan and even received a small scholarship. But because of the degree program I was in, I wasn't allowed to go. It was one of the biggest disappointments I'd ever experienced. My boyfriend and his family knew all of this. We'd been together for 3 years, and they knew exactly how much Japan meant to me. So imagine my surprise when his parents excitedly announced that they were all taking a family vacation to Japan. The strange part? My boyfriend wasn't even interested in going. He'd told me before that Japan wasn't really on his travel list, and he didn't even know about the vacation until his parents announced it. I wasn't invited. That hurt, but I understood it was their family vacation. What really got to me was what happened afterward. Every time they booked another hotel, bought another ticket, hired another guide, or added another activity, they'd make a point of telling me every single detail. It wasn't just casual conversation either. They'd go on and on about everything they had planned. I tried telling myself they probably thought I'd find it interesting. Instead, every conversation just reminded me of the dream I couldn't afford. Then I found out they'd hired a local translator for the trip. Here's the part that really stung. I'm fluent in Japanese. They were paying someone else to travel with them and translate, while knowing I'd spent years studying the language and wishing I could go. I couldn't help wondering, why not just invite me instead? To make matters worse, they were incredibly wealthy. Over the years, they'd taken family vacations to places like the Bahamas, England, France, New York, and the Grand Canyon. Meanwhile, I'd never even left my home state. I knew my jealousy wasn't their responsibility. I genuinely believed I was being petty. I just wanted to know how to stop feeling so hurt. Some people online suggested maybe they secretly wanted me to come, but expected me to pay my own way. Unfortunately, they already knew I couldn't afford it. Others wondered if something even stranger was going on. One commenter wrote, "They're either trying to get your boyfriend to pay for your trip, or they're trying to break you up." At the time, I thought that sounded ridiculous. I also realized the hiking trip my boyfriend and I had been planning together would probably have to be canceled because of this vacation. Still, I wanted to believe everyone had good intentions. Make sure you follow for more videos posted daily. Update: 1 week later. After reading everyone's advice, I decided to talk to my boyfriend. I explained that I knew his parents probably meant well, but constantly hearing about the trip made me sad because of everything I'd already been through trying to get to Japan. At first, he didn't understand, but once I reminded him how devastated I'd been after losing the study abroad opportunity, he finally understood why it hurt so much. He admitted his parents were being insensitive. He even agreed that constantly talking about a vacation in front of someone who couldn't go was rude. I asked him if he would talk to them. He refused. He said I needed to handle it myself. So I called ahead and asked if I could come by privately. I wanted to avoid bringing it up during one of our regular family dinners. When I met with them, I tried as hard as I could not to blame them. I thanked them for trying to include me in their excitement. I explained that Japan was still an emotional subject because of everything that had happened. I even told them I knew my jealousy was something I personally needed to work on. I was careful to make the conversation about my feelings instead of accusing them of doing anything wrong. They sat there completely silent. When I finally finished speaking, his mom looked at me and coldly said, "I'm sorry you're offended." That was it. I tried explaining myself a little more, but all I got were short, icy responses. His dad didn't say a single word. As soon as I stood up to leave, he walked out of the room. Before leaving, I thanked them for listening and mentioned I'd see them at our usual dinner later that week. His mom simply replied, "We'll see." When I told my boyfriend what happened, everything changed. The same boyfriend who had agreed his parents were being insensitive suddenly took their side. Now he claimed I'd been rude for bringing it up at all. He insisted they would have reacted the same way even if he'd spoken to them himself. Then our weekly dinner came. Except, nobody invited me. I finally called his mom myself. I asked if we were still doing dinner and even mentioned I'd been wanting to cook a new recipe for everyone. She simply replied, "Sorry, that's not going to work." And then she hung up. At that point, I was completely confused. His parents were ignoring me. My boyfriend was defending them. And I had no idea what I'd done that deserved this reaction. I started questioning whether I even wanted to stay in the relationship. Update. Later that same day, then everything finally made sense. His mom called me. She admitted they had been talking about the Japan trip so much on purpose. Their goal had been to make me jealous. They wanted me to eventually beg them to pay for my trip. Why? Because they wanted to prove to their son that I came from a lower social class and wasn't good enough for him. Then, she basically broke up with me on his behalf over the phone. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I don't know whether my boyfriend knew about their plan, but honestly, by that point, it didn't matter anymore. I was done. 3 years together had ended because his family deliberately manipulated me just to prove I wasn't worthy of dating their son. One commenter summed it up perfectly. They didn't reject you because of who you are. They rejected you because they wanted control. So tell me, am I the a-hole?